Hello everyone, this is Ishu Mohan from Bibliomaniac Cinephile. Before I go on with the video, I just want to say that a week back, I was in Chennai and I had a flight to Bombay. Me and my sister learned that our flight had got postponed. We thought of going to the theaters and checking out if there's any good movie or not. We drove to a theater nearby, I think PVR Cinemas or something like that. We checked out the movies, and the only decent movie that seemed to be out there was Godzilla vs. Kong. Regretfully, I ended up watching it. We had no option, but we had paid for the tickets and we went to watch the movie. I have to say this, but I wouldn't say I had a bittersweet experience. It wasn't difficult to watch it, but for a person who, like myself, who appreciates a lot of acting more than action in a movie, it was a bit excruciating for me to watch. So once I finished off the movie, I just thought I should maybe do a review of something that I actually don't like. Now, when I say this, just don't think that I'm having a prejudiced notion about this movie. But see, it's a movie based on the Monsterverse, the famous Monsterverse franchise, and it's based on Godzilla and King Kong. Now, as a kid, I used to appreciate them a lot because that's what kids do, right? But I'm not necessarily saying that this movie is just for kids or this movie is just action based or nothing. But I just feel like they hired so many actors like Millie Bobby Brown or Alexander Skarsgård or Rebecca Hall, and there were many other actors. I just don't want to name them. There was this kid from Deadpool 2, the one who acted in Deadpool 2. I just don't remember his name in particular. But the thing is, when I watched this movie, I thought there are so many talented actors. There's so many sensational actors, but they themselves don't seem that interested because the story does not provide so much of content to them. I understand that this movie focuses on action and this movie focuses on entertainment and commercial aspect only. But I feel like when I'm watching a movie, once I get out of the theater or cinema hall, I'm expecting something out of it more than entertainment. Now I understand that most of you or many of people out there in the real world would obviously want to watch a movie just for the sake of entertainment. But this was preposterously overdone, is what I'd say. This was kind of overwhelming or inundating. That's how much of VFX was used in this movie. But I have to say this. I have to appreciate the creators of this movie for one thing. The fact being that it's a Warner Bros. Production, so they definitely didn't let the quality deteriorate in terms of the VFX. They were really good, right? So one checkpoint. To watch the movie on a big screen, just for the sake of watching something, it was definitely entertaining. And I saw that Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb had given it more than decent ratings. I think it got 76% from the side of Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't know, I guess more than 7.5 or 7.6 by IMDb, or maybe I'm wrong, even more than that. But what I'm saying is, I still remember when Justice League had come out, and the VFX in Justice League wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. And I remember how much people reprimanded the whole crew and cast for providing such a shitty content. And no one did that for Godzilla because the expectation is not there for sure. But I feel like it was just difficult for me to watch the movie because of the fact that there was so much happening on the screen. And there was no focus on any one particular thing, and there was just no direction to the movie, and everything was so vague and just happening for the sake of entertaining the audience without a purpose. So if you do like content like that, then it's definitely worth a watch. But for a person like me, or for a person, I'm not undermining anyone, but for a person who enjoys a cinematic experience that has everything that a cinema should have, or a movie should have, or a film should have, I don't think that person would enjoy the movie much. But let's move on to what the story had to say. It's basically, I'm not very familiar with this multiverse or Monsterverse or whatever that is, but I have to say that the story did not have much to provide to the audience. They just had to somehow bring these two creatures, Godzilla and Kong together, and you know have a brawl or fight between them so that everyone just takes a seat back and enjoys it, right? But it kind of made no sense to me, and there were so many terms thrown out every now and then in the whole movie, like you know hollow earth, which has gravity inverted in it when you go through it, and there were so many such terms which kind of did not make sense. But in terms of watching a movie like that, it was definitely fun. I would call this a mind bubblegum, because when I watched 300 as a kid, I thought it was one of the best movies out there. But now that I've grown up and I've started appreciating real masterpiece works, 300 for me was just a mind bubbler. Because by that I mean, I don't know if that's a real term out there, but by that I mean that it's just for fun, just for entertainment's sake. Nothing more. You can't gain anything out of it. So if you want to watch that, then you should definitely give it a shot. And I don't know, man. I mean, I did not expect anything out of this movie, but it definitely came out better than what I expected. I'm not self-contradicting myself. I'm just saying that it came out better than what I expected, but still, it was a painful experience to watch it. But I would definitely give it a solid 6.5 to 7 for the VFX work that was being done. But in terms of acting and in terms of screenplay, it was just under the mark for me. And in terms of story wise, I think they did do justice to it in order to bring Godzilla and Kong together on the same screen and make them fight. But yeah, and the fact that they had to make a mecha Godzilla, the Apex Industries in Hong Kong, I don't know if that actually made sense, because there was a scene in which Millie Bobby Brown, and the other two actors with them jump into this ship or a vehicle which carries them to Hong Kong in a spur of a second, very quickly. Kind of bogged me. It just didn't make any sense to me. And the fact that they had a mecha Godzilla to annihilate Godzilla and other titans out there, and how the person was controlling it or piloting it was another fact, or was another aspect of the movie that just didn't get to me. But yeah, the choice is yours. I'm not chastising any of their efforts, obviously. I mean, I'm no one to say this, but as a critique and as a person who watched a movie, for me personally, I didn't like it. But there are people out there. There's a whole kingdom of fandom. There's a whole fandom that's awaiting, movies to come out of this particular franchise. But for me, I don't have the appetite for this. It's not my cup of tea. Like, for example, I don't watch a lot of anime, so even anime is not my cup of tea. But people might rebuke me for that, might come at me for that, but this is what it is. Do give your like, do share and subscribe, and do give us your opinions. Do like up the video, and give us your opinions in the comment section. Do help us out and give us any suggestions if you have for our future videos. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.